What if you had a cult of evangelists growing your business for you? This is Devin Hers. Welcome to this week's DMC's Marketing Nugget. On today's episode, we bring in another marketing titan, 8-time best-selling author and co-host of top-rated podcast, Sharkpreneur, our good friend, Seth Greene of Domination. Great to have you with us, Seth.
It's an honor to be here. I'm super excited to be here and really excited to be sharing with your audience.
Awesome, man. Well, Seth and I go back quite some time. We used to be involved in a lot of different conferences and events with Dan Kennedy. And I've always admired Seth's tactics to grow businesses. So I wanted to bring him on the show to share some of those strategies with you all today. Seth, before we get started into some of the good nuggets, give us a little background on how you got started in this industry.
Sure. So I started out as a financial advisor, and I was taught by my branch manager that you took the phone book a couple decades ago before the internet, and you cold called strangers 300 dials a day and interrupted them and asked them for money to invest with you. And I soon discovered I hated that, and it wasn't a very good way to market your practice or your investment services. So I had the good fortune to find and then beg my wife for 30 days in a row to let me borrow more than our mortgage to hire legendary marketing guru Dan Kennedy, who we both know and have worked with. And he took me from my Fortune 500 firm that I worked for. I was the 6,700th ranked financial advisor out of 6,700. I was in last place. And doing what Dan told me in 2 years, I was in the top 30 nationwide across the country for opening new accounts. So it worked incredibly well. I was in my 20s back then. I was competing against guys who had client bases older than I had been alive. And I was this young whippersnapper who came out of nowhere. And then all before the internet. And my phone started ringing with other advisors because I got written about in every trade journal in the industry. And so other advisors started calling me saying, how do I do that? I read about you. So I faxed Dan and I said, Dan, what do I do? And Dan said, you start a marketing company and do it for them. So 13 years ago, we started MarketDominationLLC.com. It started out as me and one financial advisor that I was willing to let test out my stuff. It worked and took off from there. We have served over 2,300 clients over the last 13 years. We now have an awesome team of 39 staff members, and we branched out into 63 different industries because the principles, as you know, of direct response marketing apply no matter what business you're in. And it's been an amazing journey and a roller coaster up and down all along the way.
Yeah, definitely been through the roller coasters of life, this year included. And thankfully, we both have got through it, and 2020 is getting close to be behind us. I know you're talking about now building evangelists to really help sell your business and be salespeople for you. So can you key us in on some of the secrets that you're using to help build a cult of evangelists?
Sure, absolutely. You know, before COVID, you and I used to travel and speak at a lot of the same conferences. Right. And when I would ask the question, you know, what's your number one source of business? 82% of the business owners that we ran across would say word of mouth or referrals. And that's totally normal. But when I said, how many referrals are you going to get next month? Everybody had a deer in the headlights, but nobody knew because it wasn't predictable and it wasn't scalable until now. So I said, there's got to be a way to generate those referrals without having to ask or beg your customers or clients, you know, who else do you know who I could help? If I could avoid that conversation, because it never works, no matter how elegantly I phrased it, and if I could get my clients out there talking about me or prospects out there talking about how fantastic my company was, I could scale word of mouth. So we decided I had watched a lot of the internet marketing gurus. For example, you watch Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, and Russell Brunson in the last year launch their Knowledge Broker Blueprint program, which I bought, and did over $20 million in sales. And every single marketing expert or guru worth their salt was out there promoting that program for them, saying, no, buy it from me. I got better bonuses. Get my bonuses. I said, oh my God, they've got their own little cult. I wish I had a cult of people out there telling the world about me. And what if that could work for a regular bricks and mortar local business as opposed to Tony Robbins, who's famous, you know?
Absolutely.
And his top affiliates they got to fly to Fiji and hang out with him for a weekend in his private resort. I'm not famous. I can't fly everybody to Fiji. I don't own a resort, and I'm not famous enough that people would want to do that.
Right.
Now, what if my local financial advisor or accountant or lawyer, they definitely don't have a bribe like that. So how do we make it work for them? So I created the process. I'm not going to take credit for it, but I will take credit for bringing it into the 21st century. So it was created by a guy I know you know, the late, great Chet Holmes.
Yes.
And Chet wrote about this in his book, The Ultimate Sales Machine, which I highly recommend. And he called it his Dream 100 or Best Buyer Strategy. He grew a magazine from the last place in its industry in terms of ad revenue to number one in less than 2 years by dripping, like 40 years ago, with direct mail and phone calls on the top 167 advertisers in his industry. And in 24 months, he doubled his revenue and became the top magazine in that industry. Now, I said, that's a great idea. How can we bring it in the 21st century? Because Chet didn't have the internet. Chet didn't have social media. He didn't have all the easier ways we have to communicate anymore. So we built a process whereby we start with 5 value nuggets. I stole this from Robert Cialdini, and I said, what if we build up so much reciprocity and goodwill in those 5 value bombs we drop on our prospects that they love us so much that they can't wait to tell the world about us? So we tested it for myself and my marketing firm 7 years ago. It worked incredibly well. It drove over $5.5 million in revenue for us. So we started doing it for clients. We've done it for financial advisors, accountants, lawyers, authors, speakers, coaches, consultants, marketing firms, golf coaches, dentists, you name it. We found a way to build a little cult of 50 people in your local market, if you're local, or nationwide, if you're national, that would drive business for you. So that's the 50,000 foot overview of the concept. And if you want, I'd be happy to go into what those 5 value bombs are and kind of how we build that relationship with those people so that they are happy to go out and tell the world about you without even realizing they're doing it.
Yeah, I think that would be great to share with the audience. And I know we see all these internet stars out there, and yeah, we may strive to be the next one, but fact is, we don't need millions and millions of followers. A lot of businesses just need that 50 or sometimes even less. So yeah, go ahead and let's share the 5 nuggets that you got with our audience and see if that will help them out.
Yeah, we'll share the 5 nuggets and then we'll give you examples of how it works in a regular business, or heck, if you're an internet marketing guru, we could talk about that too.
Sure.
So I know Tony watches your show. So if the 5 value bombs, we start with an audio podcast interview.
Okay.
We do a video podcast interview. We do social media content. We do a long form SEO optimized blog post. And then we do a physical bookstore book. So for example, Devin, if I was doing this with you, I would first reach out to you, not to sell you anything, not to offer you my services, but to interview you on my podcast.
Okay.
And you would say, awesome, I'd love the exposure. That would be great. Sign me up. And then you come on my show. And we do it via software like we're using now, or Zoom or whichever, that separates out the audio and video tracks, makes it easier for editing. And then the audio podcast goes to iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn. The video podcast goes to YouTube as a web TV show. Devin, if I just interviewed you on my show and I just put you on all those platforms, are you going to tell everybody that you were on my show?
Heck yeah, absolutely.
Exactly, because you're promoting yourself. You're saying, look at DMC, we're so awesome that we were on Sharkpreneur. So you're going to tell everybody about you being on my show. But you're taking me along for the ride just a little bit, because some people are going to listen to that episode and go, yeah, we love Devin, but what's that Sharkpreneur all about? Then I'm going to transcribe that episode, type up every word that's said, and edit it into a couple thousand long form SEO optimized blog posts. So now I've got blog content every week. When I write a 2,000 word blog post about you, Devin, are you going to tell people about the blog?
Absolutely, Seth. We definitely would put it out there.
Of course, you're promoting yourself. You're just taking me along with you. Then there's going to be social media content. You're going to share that. We're going to supply you the graphics that you just showed on the screen, for example, to promote that you were on the show or on the blog. Then we're going to turn it into a physical bookstore book, of which I've written 8. Most of them I didn't write. Most of them are done through this process. So if there is a physical book out there about digital marketing and cutting edge marketing techniques and you're in it, you going to tell anyone that you're in a book?
We're going to keep spreading the word.
We're
Absolutely.
going to keep spreading the word. So now your audience has heard about me 5 times, audio show, video show, social media, blog, and book. And you love the fact that I promoted you 5 times
Right.
to my following and to the world. And the reciprocity and goodwill from Cialdini that we're building up, you may not even be able to take it. You may literally say on step 3, what can I do for you? Because you just can't take the imbalance that we've added so much value and you haven't done anything yet. Or you could wait till step 6 when we say, hey, Devin, we did this, and this. We got great feedback on all of that from our audience. Would you be willing to share our How to Grow Your Own Cult ebook with your audience? I think they'd get a lot of value out of it. And what are you going to say?
Sure, Seth, not a problem. I'd love to do that.
Yeah, you've done so much for me. It's the least I could do. I'd happily post it on Facebook, LinkedIn, and send an email. And now you've just directly endorsed me to your list, and all of your followers have seen this directly promoting something I've got. They will follow through. Some of them will go get that bait, that lead magnet, that webinar, that video series, that ebook, whatever it is, that free trial.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're going to go through our process, and some of them are going to hire us. So I have basically, by adding 5 value bombs first, created 5 pieces of content you're going to share with the world, and then earn the right to ask you to share something that directly promotes me. And if I do that once a week, every week for a year, and I take off for Thanksgiving and Christmas, that's 50 referral partners, 250 pieces of content promoted. That's a heck of a lot of traffic to my podcast and my website, or my funnel, whatever it is. And then I've got one person every single week out there promoting directly my business or my offer to their following, thus bringing me all the business I can handle.
Yeah, I would say that's some awesome advice there and nuggets. And people don't want to be sold this day and age, right? And we know that it's very hard to get people to opt in. It's continuing to get harder. So the fact that you're offering them to be on the show, it's free for them, it gives them exposure, you're giving something which builds that trust and that loyalty, and then they go ahead and just spread the word for you. So similar to our show, I mean, that's the way that we are getting people to find us and see what we've got going on, by having good content, of course, but also the guests that we bring on the show. So you're one of those, so we appreciate that. And now I know you also have done some things where you're doing some data mining of lifetime credit card processes or something like that. Can you explain that for us?
Sure. So the point of growing a cult is that you then don't necessarily need the latest, greatest Facebook ad widget or plugin or a giant digital marketing budget or any of that, because you have an army of a sales force that's out there promoting you.
Right.
However, some of our clients want even more than that. They want to grow even faster. So, for example, we do have, as you know, a traffic and conversion division that helps drive even more traffic to those offers. And part of that is finding out who your existing customers are, who your ideal prospects are, and then data mining. See, there's no privacy anymore. And we've got the ability in certain circumstances to track people's credit card purchases. For example, if you go to Amazon and you look at something and then you don't buy it, but then you go to ESPN to check the score of the football game, you'll notice an ad has followed you for that exact item, and that's called retargeting, which I know you practice and preach for your clients.
Absolutely.
However, we've taken it to another level where we can data mine the audience that we're going to be retargeting based on their purchases. So what that means is I can find people based on what they bought. So, for example, if they've bought a book on Dan Kennedy marketing, now I know that they get your world,
right,
and that they're a better qualified prospect than a business owner who's never read a Dan Kennedy book. So I can laser focus my target marketing on exactly the right people based on their buyer behavior, as opposed to someone just liking something on Facebook, which may mean that they like it, but it doesn't mean they voted with their wallet. And as Dan has taught both you and I, we want people who are voting with their wallets because they'll be more qualified.
Absolutely.
So it's the latest generation of privacy invasion.
I love it, man. Well, I mean, as always, we've stayed on the cutting edge. I mean, that's one of the things that I think has helped our success, is the fact that we've constantly evolved. We're constantly learning the new things that are out there, taking the old proven tactics, combining them with the new age ways of getting information out there to people, getting people on our podcast or shows. So I just think these nuggets that you're sharing with us today are super valuable. Really appreciate your time, Seth. Knowing that we're going into this new year, 2021 here, any other advice that you'd like to give our audience to kick some butt in 2021?
Absolutely. How much time do I have? So you and I could talk about marketing out for hours, so if not days. So I would say the number one biggest factor we've seen that affects the success or failure of any marketing campaign is who is your target market. You could take a mediocre marketing campaign and send it to the exact right target market and it'll work. But I could take the greatest marketing campaign in the world and send it to the wrong target market and it will completely flop. So the first decision you have to make, and the first question we would ask in any marketing consultation would be, who is your target market? And then really, who is your target market? Because you know, as well as I do, that their first answer is not going to be laser focused and micro niche down enough. You know, I had a dentist who I said, who's your target market? And he said, anybody with teeth. And you and I know no one can afford to market to everybody with teeth. And that would be a lousy marketing campaign. Sure. However, when we helped him narrow it down to the fact that he wanted 35 to 55-year-old women who had been divorced in the last 6 months, were starting to date again, were terrified of competing against younger women, wanted to do something to improve their appearance, but were afraid of plastic surgery, he can dominate that market.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, I think when people hear that, they just think of the broad audience and being able to really hone in. And I know it's been even in our company, we work with so many different industries to really hone in on that perfect client, that perfect avatar. You're doing something real cool for our audience today. I know you got a newer book out here. I know you've written 8. I believe it's called Grow Your Own Cult. Is that the name of the book?
Yes, it is called The Cult Report. Okay. It is a 37-page ebook. It is for sale for $7 right now. However, for your audience only, if they go to growyourownCult.com/DMC, they can get it for free.
Awesome, man. Really appreciate that. And again, awesome to have you on the show. Love the nuggets that you're sharing with everyone. Love to have you back here in the near future, and wish you all but nothing but success and health for you and your family. So everyone out there, some great nuggets. Listen to this, take notes from Seth. There's definitely ways to inexpensively bring audiences and bring followers into your herd and take some of those advice and put it to use. We appreciate you joining us, Seth, and make sure you follow Seth at growyourownCult.com. Use that /DMC to get that free book, and wish you all the best. Thanks for joining us for another DMC Marketing Nugget. We'll see you right back here next week.